Hi everybody, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mara Shakhtar, and we're here with another episode of Femicon. So as you can see on our title, on our title thing, I don't know what it's called. We are talking about the book, the compilation of short stories called Narrating Pakistan, an anthology of contemporary creative writing, and it is edited by Saeed Rahman and Khadija Faruqi. So reading room is a new thing जो हम शुरू कर रहे हैं. And what we're going to do is take a different book, parts of इस तरह की compilations, and take a few stories from them, or the general idea जो इस book में है या उन books में होगा, उस पे discussion. And what we're hoping, what you guys, Assalamu alaikum to those of you who've joined, और जो हमारी effort है उसमें वो ये है कि maybe we can turn this into a book club type of thing. And I know that book clubs Instagram पे carry on नहीं हो सकते, but those of you who are interested, we'll have a few of these. And those of you who are interested, we can do this on Zoom or Google Meet or wherever you guys are comfortable. We can carry these out on those. लेकिन अभी हम every now and again, we will keep having these kinds of sessions on our Femicon. And it's interesting that this ended up happening, or I don't know, maybe this was the intention on my team's part. I never know what they're cooking up, that this came up right before or really close to 14th of August. Because there's a lot of, the discussion is about Pakistan, and the discussion basically becomes about how हमारी ये जनरेशन, हमारे बाद की भी बात की, मैं अपनी बात कर रही हूँ कि I'm Gen X, हमारे बाद मिलेनियल्स आए और उसके बाद की जो जनरेशन है, एक्चुअली ये वो जनरेशन है जो मुझे पढ़ने से लगता है कि ये वो जनरेशन है जिसमें अब जो चीज़ें नोटिस में आ रही हैं वही चीज़ें इसमें डिस्कस हो रही हैं, right? And actually I was thinking a lot of these things जो डिस्कस हो रही हैं इसमें, मेरे बच्चे 12 और 13 साल के अब हो गए, I feel like it's a good read for them कि बहुत कुछ, you understand so much about life in these stories. And I think it's important कि मुझसे तो वो सुनते रहते हैं, right? अपने अब्बा से भी सुनते रहते हैं. A lot of these issues discuss होते रहते हैं, and a lot of things are in front of them जो ये हो रही होती हैं. But to read and to almost see it in your mind's eye by reading, that's a completely different thing. So I feel like this would be a very interesting book for them to read some stories out of. And you guys, AI made an appearance, right? ChatGPT wrote a small article. Let me show you where that is. So hello to everybody who's joining in. We're going to show or read. Oh, where was it? It was in the end somewhere. There we are. Narrating the cities of Pakistan. That's ChatGPT. If you guys know anything about me, एक चीज़ आप लोगों को पता होगी from the get-go, that ChatGPT is a real enemy. My nemesis, you can say, in some ways. In the twilight, I need my glasses. In the twilight of a nation, draped in melancholy, lies Karachi, a sprawling metropolis suffocating under the weight of its own existence. A city of hushed whispers and fading dreams where people trudge through the streets, their eyes cast downwards, as if seeking solace in the cracked pavement. Karachi, an ode to futility, bears the burden of a Sisyphus struggle, a cruel, never-ending cycle of hope and despair. So, of course, it's super generic, and you can tell that it's not written by somebody who's ever been to Karachi, who's ever lived in that space or traveled through it. It doesn't have any personal connection to that place. Or even if you don't have a personal connection, it doesn't feel like a solid observation. It's just something that you've read in newspapers and in different articles, and you just take words from it and you've put it together, which is what ChatGPT does, right? Then there's Lahore, caught in a limbo of its own history, caught in the limbo. Why would you say that why would ChatGPT say that Lahore is caught in the limbo? I mean, it's a historically rich city, which also Karachi is too. You know, but yeah, Lahore is more so historically rich. But let's see what they mean by that. A city where ancient and modern collide, a perpetual dance of the absurd. Time stands still, and yet it marches on, like an old man pacing in circles, never quite reaching his destination. Lahore clings to its past, unwilling to let go, as if tethered to the Mughal specters that haunt its walls. Islamabad, the fortress of bureaucracy, is faced a stoic mask masking the disquiet within. A city of grey where concrete monoliths rise, futile attempts at order. I mean, if they're talking about, if it's discussing political disorder, yeah, of course, it makes sense. But then that would go for any city in Pakistan. Right now, we are in political and economical, any kind of disorder. But to dismiss every other aspect of what is happening I don't know, it doesn't make really a lot of sense to me. Islamabad's inhabitants, like players in a Beckett play, find themselves trapped in a maze of their own making, their purpose lost in the labyrinthine corridors of power. All right, so that's gonna go on. Quite boring, quite bland. I mean, every other story in here was really interesting for me to read, and I just kept, I couldn't stop myself, and sometimes I had to because I didn't have enough time to go through every single story and read the whole thing. So I was like, nope, I have to skip and I have to look at this and look at that and, move forward. But yeah, this one was 2 pages, even less than 2 pages. But yeah, I had a hard time going through it. See, that's the problem we're having. कि इस तरह की चीजें AI, and I'm not completely against AI in every form, in every way. लेकिन इसमें तो I feel like there was a purpose to it. But होता ये है हमारे साथ, and that is the core problem जो इसमें भी identify हुआ है बार-बार कि we are losing touch. And जो talk इससे पिछली session जो हुआ था, and please go watch that because you'll see what I'm talking about right now. It's connected. कि हमारा we're losing touch with ourselves, with our brains. जो हमारी एक conscientious effort चीज़ों के लिए होती है ना, वो कम से कम होती जा रही है because we're relying on ChatGPT and other types of AIs to do that job, to think for us. Even critical thinking, हम उन पे depend कर रहे हैं. And then it's it may be making the job easier in one sense, but then we're losing ourselves, our awareness in the other sense. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Mera Nasib hai, I mean, he's in his 30s, grown adult, बीवी बच्चे उसके सब हैं, and he's pretty smart guy. He's a coder, you know, so obviously he knows things, ये बात नहीं है, right? He was, I don't know, कुछ महीनों तक, I hope he's shaken off that habit. And he's so, हर चीज के लिए he goes to ChatGPT. And I tell him कि ये जो information ChatGPT पे आ रही है, this is not coming from space. Aliens तो नहीं लिख रहे ना इस information को. For every little thing. You're an intelligent guy, you're an analytical thinker, and he was a very good writer at some point, creative writer. And even now I know कि अगर मैं उसको कहूँ कि इस पे ये चीज़ रख के मुझे दे दो, तो he would do it. He'll be able to do it actually very well. He used to write for me some time ago when he was high school में or college में था, so he used to write for me. And he was good enough for me to actually accept his, material. So, point being कि अब वो इतना dependent है. Not in his own work, he's a coder, like I said, so not in his own work, but in things like we go out to eat, and this was a huge thing, and we were on different sides of it as a family. Okay, he wanted to say something to, we went out to eat, and he wanted to say something to the waiter, and he wanted to say it politely because something had happened and he didn't appreciate it, plate uske samne se utha liya or something like that. But he wanted to say it very, very politely. कि आप प्लीज ख्याल रखा करें, पूछ लिया करें. And it was a one-time thing, इस तरह होता नहीं है उस restaurant में. So he was like, I'm going to type the question in ChatGPT कि how do you politely tell a waiter who's always been very polite, was polite the whole time, कि मेरे सामने से plate आपने उठा ली, मैं अभी मेरे बच्चे को खिला रहा था, or whatever it was. And half of us were on this side कि you are a smart person. तुम लोगों से रोज in and out deal करते हो, तुम travel भी करते हो. Why are you, just say it in your own words, क्या हो गया तुम्हें? And half of obviously the family was like, नहीं करने दो उसको, what's the big deal? But my point was कि no, but you have a brain. Why would you do this? Use your brain. Just use your brain. So the point of the story was not to throw him under the bus, but it was to demonstrate that we have become so accustomed to just not bother our brains. यार अपने दिमाग को क्या तंग करूं? ChatGPT knows how to be polite. वो मुझे exact words बता लेगा. And then मैं कह दूंगा, बदतमीजी भी नहीं होगी. और अगर मुझे किसी ने कुछ कहा तो वो कहूँगी मुझे तो इसने कहा था, ये AI ने बताया था, मेरे अल्फाज थोड़ी थे, मैंने थोड़ी कोई गलती की. Take the responsibility off of us. हमारी thoughts नहीं है तो हमारा मसला नहीं है. That's the gist of it. जो हमें वैसे समझ नहीं आती है. अगर हम वैसे किसी को ये कहें कि yeah, you do this because you don't want to be responsible. Responsibility can be taken off of you and dumped on whatever AI you're using. बचपन में parents होते हैं, and we tell our kids, कह देना यार, कहना अम्मी ने कहा था, अम्मी ने इजाज़त नहीं, कहना अब्बू ने इजाज़त नहीं दी, अब्बू की वजह से नहीं हुआ, अम्मी कह रही थी. And you get out of a lot of things. अगर अम्मी अब्बू ने ये ना भी कहा तो you can say that and get out of a lot of things. And now, when you're older, जब आप responsibility ले सकते हैं चीज़ों की, now you have all this AI and research engines and all of these things to fall back on. यहाँ से information मिली थी और यहाँ से नहीं मिली थी और यहाँ से ली थी. जब research कर रहे होते हैं मेरे बच्चे, तो I tell them, no, stop. अब तुम books में देखो, यहाँ से नहीं मिला, go search a book. वो history की book थी हमारे पास, वो फलां की book थी हमारे पास, we have a big book of bugs, उसमें देखो, maybe you'll find it there. But they're ready to go to ChatGPT, and then there's a new AI that they're always looking at. And I'm like, we have books. This is giving up, right? So that's one aspect of it. And when we start talking about Chat GPT, everything gets away from myself because I can't stand it. So, anyways, moving on and coming to these stories. Why is this called Narrating Pakistan? Because there's many stories in here that are from people and about people who live outside of Pakistan. And there's actually a white guy in here. What was his name? Yeah, I'm on the right story. I have a lot of marks on here. I hope I can remember everybody that we need. Yeah, here he is. Jim Redmond. So he lived in Lahore at some point, and we're not going to go in detail of every single story. We're just talking about the gist. कि इसमें बात क्या की जा रही है? इसका purpose क्या है? And I feel like this is written for young adults. कि ये उस age group के लिए है जो अब gradually इतनी ज़्यादा involved हो गई है in all of these things that they don't see themselves as their inside, their consciousness अब नज़र नहीं आती है. अब वो thought process, अब उस तरह से जिस तरह से दुनिया को देखना चाहिए, जिस depth के साथ, उस depth में अब हम नहीं देख रहे हैं दुनिया को. And I think that is what this world, this book is representing. It's representing that world. जिस तरह से जिस दुनिया को देखना चाहिए कि वो दुनिया को उस दुनिया को represent कर रहे हैं. अब why is this guy in this book? If we're talking about the Pakistan world, so why is he here? So he's in Lahore, but just living in Pakistan doesn't make you a Pakistani. But he raises some very good questions, which I have here, and I should go to where I wrote about him. And where did I write about him? See, this is a good time because इस वक्त मुझे peace and quiet होता है मेरे घर में, but then also मेरा दिमाग जो है वो gradually बंद होना शुरू हो जाता है. So it's kind of an interesting combination for me. So this opens, here it is. So this opens a lot of questions. And I think this book is more about questions. Because जो answers हैं, वो इन questions के answers तो हमारे पास ही है ना. और हम answers, जो writer है वो सिर्फ अपने लिए मुश्किल से आ रही मेरी आवाज़ में भी because I have ये ज़रा नीचे. अब बेहतर है? Is it better now? Let me know. Let me know if it's better now. Okay, my mic was a bit further away from my mouth. Okay, so the name of the story is Spin the Empty Bottle by Jim Redmond. So obviously he's an American. He identifies as a Christian somewhat, right? And he's talking about this life that he has of outside of the Pakistani culture to some extent. But he identifies with a minority in Pakistan. So that puts him in the Pakistani category, right? He's a minority in Pakistan and he identifies with a minority. So now we can't say that he's not, so now we can't say that he's not Pakistani because he lives here, right? And he enjoys the benefits of being in this country. And he's aware of his status. Now here's the point, ये इस चीज़ को समझने की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है कि क्योंकि he's a white guy, right? तो उसको उस लेवल की इम्पोर्टेंस मिलती है. हमारे कल्चर की ये चीज़ समझने की हमें ज़रूरत है, हमें समझने की ज़रूरत है कि उसको उस लेवल की इम्पोर्टेंस मिलती है. हमारे घरों में, हमारे आसपास कोई गोरा आ जाए तो हमें क्या होता है? We act like he's, हमारा वो जो slaved colonial brain है, that just kind of starts acting like he's our king, right? He or she. So हमें उस लेवल की, हम उसको उस लेवल की इम्पोर्टेंस देते हैं. But he identifies with a minority जिसको हम कोई इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं देते, that we don't consider to be, anything, no importance at all. Christians and Hindus, minorities in our culture, in our religion, they have a very different place. They have a lot of respect and a lot of value, and they're supposed to be treated very, very differently. But in our culture, they have a very different value. So he talks about how he goes in these areas and, how he deals with all these people, and he keeps talking about alcohol and what he has to do to get it and how that makes him feel. It does not make him feel good. And that his life revolves around that. And notice how he keeps calling the person he gets the alcohol from bootlegger. Usually आप किसी को introduce करवाते हैं कि this is the guy who gets me alcohol. And हमको automatically पता है. If he's living in Lahore, हमें automatically पता है कि वो तो bootlegger ही है, obviously. Alcohol पाकिस्तान में कहाँ से आ रही है? Legally तो नहीं आ रही ना. तो आपने एक दफ़ा identify करवा दिया उसको. Right? एक दफ़ा करवा दिया. उसके बाद आप नाम लेके बस उसको introduce करवाएं. But he keeps saying bootlegger every time he talks about it. What does that mean? Why is he doing that? He's making sure we understand कि उसकी क्या जगह है. उस आदमी की cultural hierarchy में, even to some degree, religious hierarchy में, different religions, and even probably his own religion, क्या hierarchy है? Right? There's a judgment going on. Now I have a note here. I should check what it says. Yeah, and then we go on to see how he's talking about himself. And then we see, and this is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, how he uses lowercase I when he's talking about himself. As the story progresses, he's talking about this woman and he keeps talking about it. And then later on towards the end, we see that he's having issues with this guy's sister, and that's also a nod or a more understanding of this culture, because he keeps talking about, but in America, I do this because I'm an American, and I do this because, so he still identifies as an American, of course, but he also identifies with a certain part of Pakistan. And he doesn't like these certain parts of himself that were in America, because he's talking about this person and he's talking about कि वहाँ पर, and then he makes himself small. He's trying to show us, and it's such a brilliant way of doing that. And आगे जाके he says it too. You are such a tiny you. Even 3 continents over. And even if he had not said that, it was very obvious. And, not to critique other people's writing, which I do plenty, it would have been so much more powerful if he had not said such a tiny you, even 3 continents over. It would be a more powerful, message to pass on. Okay, he feels small. He feels like he traveled all the way across the world, फिर भी वही चीज़ कर रहा है जो वहाँ कर रहा था. Even though यहाँ पे it's illegal, it's not accepted. and he's in a new culture, in a new place, but he's not able to adapt. He's not able to make those changes that he should have made. Now, there is a dominant culture, and then there is a minority culture. He's identifying with that culture, which is fine. Har country ka, har jagah ka apna culture, but he's conscious of that fact that he could be a part of the dominant culture, but he chooses not to be. Or religion mein, there is no issue that you are a part of the other culture. But the major problem here is the drinking, that he can't get away from the past and the issues that he had in the past. So he's still stuck there. Moving away from all of that has not helped him. So he still feels small, and he still feels like he hasn't accomplished anything. So it's a very interesting way of identifying with a completely different type of people in a completely different country and a completely different culture, and also appreciating that he's not the cool American in the crowd that he's accepted in, right? He's the cool American in the crowd that will not let him do the things that he likes to do, right? He's not going to be able to drink. He's not going to be able to go out on dates in the way that he's able to with his crowd. It will be a different kind of atmosphere, but that is not the atmosphere that he's okay with. And that would probably be the healthier atmosphere, right? Because he's not okay with the life that he's living, or the life that is even approved in Pakistan as it was in America. So it's an interesting, juxtaposing. And I don't think this was really about him being Pakistani. This was just him just talking about in general Pakistan's so many different cultures inside Pakistan. और ये तो सिर्फ एक दो कल्चर्स की बात हुई थी, थोड़ा सा क्रिश्चियन कल्चर को एक्सप्लेन करने की बात हुई है. But we do have a lot of cultures, and this does bring up the point of how we deal with our minorities. And we will talk about that later when we're done discussing stories. But this is what came to my head, that the way we deal with our minorities, the way we जिस तरह हम उनको हैंडल करते हैं, जिस तरह हमने उनको बिल्कुल ऐसे कर दिया जैसे we almost act like they're not part of Pakistan. और ये वो लोग हैं जो चाहे हिंदू हों, क्रिश्चियन हों, जो भी हों, ये वो लोग हैं जो पाकिस्तान बनने से पहले से पाकिस्तान में रह रहे हैं. जब some of them migrated, that was their choice, but most of them ये पहले से यहाँ रह रहे हैं. So they're just as Pakistani as you and me, maybe even more. Who knows? And then there was another story that really, I'm not going to go over every single story, just some that really stuck with me. Because the idea is to talk about things that really, this is talking about, like we said, it's talking about different stories that came from Pakistan and Pakistani people that can relate to their country and sometimes understand it and sometimes completely miss the mark, you know? So I was looking at that story by school ki story, high school ki story thi by some kids, and that was, I have, boys hitting puberty, so it makes so much sense to me, and it made more sense to me because I am I was raised in that kind of atmosphere. And I'm raising two boys, and I'm trying very, very hard to not raise them with an identity crisis. Trying very hard to not raise them with issues with their skin color. And it's a tough job. It's a very tough job. And it's hard to hard to do that. अब तो ये पाकिस्तान में है. पाकिस्तान में कहने को तो एवरीबडी लुक्स लाइक देम, बट ये प्रॉब्लम पाकिस्तान में भी आना शुरू हो गया सामने, राइट. एंड दिस इस तरह की स्टोरीज दे ऑलवेज just kind of stick with me because this was my life all through middle school, high school. Our parents always tell us to be proud of who we are, be proud to be Muslim, be proud to be okay, I'm sorry, let me just bring up the name real quick. Brown Mirror by Atif Rashid, and I'm going to go to it. Thoda sa give you a background on what this story is about. Where did it go? So oh, this is the first one, 25. And it's also about a middle school, Nixon Middle School. So you can see that it is that it is not here, not in Pakistan. And it's about a couple of kids hitting puberty. And that time, we all know what kind of time that is and how sensitive that is for boys and girls. And this story goes into detail on how they're dealing with that, being in a group with kids from different backgrounds, different, Indian, Pakistani, and Americans, of course, and dealing with racism at the core of it all, and dealing with, oh, you have a mustache and you look this way and you're brown and you're all of these things, and just why haven't you started shaving yet, and why haven't you, and so all of these questions and all of these, your voice is changing, and so yeah, we went through all of this, and my kids are going through it right now. And like I said, abhi to ye Pakistani school mein hai aur sab Pakistani bacche hain, but even right now, this kind of bullying and these kinds of situations happen. कलर का हमें पता है, हमारे कल्चर में भी कलर का बहुत ज़्यादा इशू है. Like, it's a severe problem. We are extremely racist against ourselves, right? I mean, and with my kids, and I'll get back to this kind of racism, but just to, press on my point, कि मेरा जो बड़ा वाला बेटा है, he's quite dark. I mean, quite dark, so matlab ye कि much darker than my younger kid. And my younger kid is very, very fair. तो उन दोनों के कलर का इतना ज़्यादा difference है. And their whole lives, whether in school, whether at home, not with us, but, outside people. मेरे family, मेरे husband की family ने कभी भी, they've never said anything, because just by chance, my family and my husband's family, immediate family, हम दोनों की families में बहुत ज़्यादा बहन भाइयों में कलर का बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंस इसी तरह से है कि आधे बहन भाई काफ़ी डार्क हैं, आधे बहन भाई बहुत गोरे हैं. तो हमने कभी इसको सीरियसली नहीं लिया, राइट. लेकिन बाहर के लोग, मुझे अंदाज़ा हुआ जब ये दोनों हुए, क्योंकि हमने आपस में घर में कभी इस चीज़ को लिया ही नहीं सीरियसली, तो हमें इसका अंदाज़ा नहीं है. तो आई मीन बचपन में मुझे लोग कहते थे कि वो ये बहुत गोरी है, व्हाटएवर, बट इट डिडंट रियली मैटर टू मी. बट जब मेरे बच्चे हुए तो आई हर्ड दिस ऑल द टाइम कि ये तुम्हारा छोटे वाला बहुत प्यारा है, ये बड़ा वाला किस पे चले गया. And he looks just like his dad, including his color, including his skin color. And I'm like, what do you mean? He looks just like his father. Like, I don't understand. और छोटा वाला मुझसे बहुत मिलता है, मेरी फैमिली से काफ़ी मिलता है, अपने फादर की फैमिली पर भी है, बट and I think his color actually is also उसकी फादर की फैमिली पे ही है, मेरे दोनों बेटों का, because उसकी फूफो दोनों बहुत गोरी हैं और एक ताया भी बहुत गोरे हैं. तो I don't think he's, because I'm the only one who's that fair, me and my mom. as far as he is. But this question came so much that at some point कुछ लोगों को मुझे कहना पड़ा जब ये थोड़े से बड़े हुए and they could understand it. I had to tell them कि आप प्लीज इनके सामने मत कहा करें इस तरह. And then I had to explain to them that skin color does not matter. It's just color. You understand that it is just, it's just on the top layer of your skin. मतलब जरा छोटे थे तो I couldn't explain to them biologically, like, pigmentation and all of that. But and now they don't care. Because I explained all of these things to them. I explained that skin color, किस तरह से होता है और क्या है, क्या इसकी value है, and now they know that means nothing. So they're fine. They both think they're like super handsome. They're cool with it. They don't let that bother them. But it's not possible कि जब इनके friends या इनके classmates उनको ये कहते होंगे you're ugly because तुम काले हो या तुम्हारा रंग खराब है, so it's not possible because it doesn't hurt them. In their heart of heart, in their brain, पता है उनको कि रंग से कुछ नहीं होता, but still it hurts, right? So this thing, ये जो again हमारे भी brains में ये stuck हुई हुई है. Again, that's our slave mentality, वो वही से आई है. And this is a really interesting story, by the way, behind it. And I will tell you that in just a minute. Because we have to know this story. So this basically goes back to all of that, the brown mirror. And in the end, the boy, जिसकी mustache भी आ रही थी and his voice was squeaking and he was going through puberty. He goes home and he wants to just shave everything off and he wants to read you that part. And did I miss that story? Nope, right here. And then we'll talk about the faces of racism, and there's so much to talk about in the story, but we're short on time. So he ran home. He wants to shave everything off because, of course, kids are making fun of him. He can only do so much. Slowly he turned on the tap, put the razor under the water, and then lifted it to his face. He wanted to shave off the mustache in one stroke, to pull out every hair so that it would never grow again. But he also wanted more than that. He wanted to use the razor to scrape away his skin. He wanted to run the blade across his face and his arms and every inch of his body to peel away all his dark brown skin, every last awful bit of it, until all that was left was white. This is one of the very important pieces of it, and then it goes back to, there's a part in this where, there are a couple of parts, of course, that talks about September 11th and then, all these other things. And I remember September 11th very, very clearly. We were, I was in college my last year. And it was quite interesting because they were putting sketches on TV everywhere. And everybody was saying, don't leave your house, just stay where you are. I was actually at the gym when the news came. And I was like, oh my gosh, I saw the plane hitting the Twin Towers. And I was like, And then they started putting out sketches and news. And, they were Muslim. And that was it. That was our lives as Muslim Americans was over in America at that time, right? And just that second, my phone started blowing up. Everybody's like, "Don't, just stay home. Don't go anywhere. Don't, you know." And we started, especially us women over there, everybody who wore a scarf and who looked Muslim, we needed escorts to drive us नहीं, हम पार्क करते थे अपनी गाड़ी, and जो भी school and work and इस तरह की चीज़ों के लिए जो भी वहाँ पे guard होता था, we just had to say, can you help me inside? And they knew instantly what we meant, कि हमारे लिए parking lot से building के अंदर तक जाना safe नहीं है. Anything can happen. I know people, मेरी family में, who have been shot at, like driving on the highway with their families, their children, they've been shot at. And my mamu, he has a very long beard and he goes and shalakumis everywhere, not at work, but everywhere else. And Topi, he's that kind of a guy. He's been beaten up. He's been stopped, like driving his car, not highway pe nahi, like in, kisi street pe. They've stopped him. And he didn't know why they were stopping him. Some guys, they've stopped him, told him to get out of his car, and he didn't know why they were asking him to get out, but, and then they just beat him with, like, baseball bats, and this was within those years. So this is a kind of strong racism that all of us faced living there. And it was interesting because jab wo shuru ke sketches aa rahe the ki who are these guys and what they look like and all of those things, every person looked like somebody in my family. And I was like, oh my God, this looks like that cousin. And looks like my brother. And this looks like my uncle. And so it becomes very scary because I know it's not them. लेकिन जब शक्लें इतनी मिलती हैं तो फिर you're scared कि भाई तो किसी को भी मिला सकते हैं शक्ल कि no, that's you and that's you. तो none of us are safe. And you don't feel safe. And that's after high school. That's, end of university. That's when you're working and, you feel like you're an adult or kis cheez se darna hai, we have rights. But that's the problem, that you don't when you come to, when your skin color is not white. Like, that kind of white. You don't have rights. You don't have that kind of freedom of speech. So the other thing that I wanted to mention from this story that I did not put a tag on is where it talks about one of the kids came in with his pants really low where they could see his Calvin Klein underwear. And they asked him why he's wearing those, they wondered why he's wearing them like that. And he said, and the explanation was that that's the style or something. And then it was discussed that he doesn't like those people. He doesn't like the blacks and the Hispanics. But he's copying their style. He wants to be like them. He likes rap and he wants to be like them. But he doesn't like those people. So this is kind of, and that's very, very common, right? It's very common. And I see that in my cousins that are over there and my nieces and nephews that are, at that age right now. And then my cousins growing up, a lot of them were, they were younger than me, but a lot of them grew up around me. कि ये होता था कि उनके वो लोग black and brown crowd में hang out नहीं करते थे because हमारे कल्चर में अमेरिका में भी रेसिज्म बहुत है, राइट? उनके साथ हैंग आउट नहीं करेंगे, उनके साथ दोस्तियाँ नहीं करेंगे, उनके साथ उठे बैठेंगे नहीं बिकॉज, और पाकिस्तानियों के साथ भी उठे बैठेंगे नहीं, मतलब इन स्कूल में और आउटसाइड ऑफ होम्स they want to hang out with white kids because that's cooler, that gives them a status, right? But white बच्चे भी और ये लोग भी, they will be doing the same things, wearing clothes like black kids do, acting like black kids, talking like them, because that's cool. But hanging out with them, talking to them, no, that doesn't happen for the most part. कुछ हैं जो इस तरह की discrimination नहीं करते, but most of them do that. So that's another cultural phenomena, that we don't accept you, but we are okay with your culture. So that's cultural appropriation. We take from your culture the things we like, but we don't want you. And that's another kind of damage that's being done to the people, to the Black community and the Hispanic community, कि आप उनकी चीज़ें borrow कर लें, ले लें, but not in a way कि आप उनके साथ integrate कर रहे हैं, या तो आप उनमें उठ बैठ रहे हैं, उनके साथ मिल के कर रहे हैं, तो वो और चीज़ होती है. लेकिन आप उनको, you're shunning them, कि we don't like you, you guys are, uneducated or poor or whatever you wanna say, but we will take from you. In that sense, we will take what we like, but we don't accept you, and that's cultural appropriation in its true sense. अगर आपने किसी के कपड़े पहन लिए because you think it's pretty, और किसी की तरह का हेयर स्टाइल बना लिया because you appreciate it, ये cultural appropriation नहीं है. लेकिन फिर आप उनके साथ उठ बैठ भी रहे हैं, उनको इज्जत भी दे रहे हैं. That's actually a good thing in my opinion. So that's, and I appreciate that was brought up, because this kind of racism is very prevalent in America, and white people are very good at borrowing from others and not giving them credit. Like, keep taking from other cultures and then moving forward with it, अपना नाम लगा के, right? You take, and that's fine. क्योंकि ऐसी progress होती ना कि आप दूसरों की देखें कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं, then you're like, oh, this is a good idea, let's take it and move on with it, and then you give credit. But that never happens in white people. And I shouldn't say Americans, because there's Americans of all shades and colors and types and ethnicities and all of that. But I mean to say white. So, interesting story about the whiteness. And I want to mention because it applies to Pakistan. Subcontinent. इधर जो, बल्कि it relates to one of the stories over here. कौन सी है? Microfictions 104. इधर एक story में, microfiction में, those of you who have read it, this karma. This one goes on, talks about this person saying, how there's a concept of reincarnation in the Hindu faith. So this person talks about, first, he says, first there was a people tree, offered shade and oxygen to everybody. Then they were cut. He says I was cut and murdered, of course, and then became tables and beds. And then uske baad next life mein, second life mein, there was something else. I'm not going to go through all the things that they were. Died in a state of dance. Third mein, appeared in form of a black deer. And then in the next life, I'm sure I'm missing a few. They were a human. Next time I was allowed to take the shape of a woman. And then they were slaughtered in the name of honor, I think it says. My father and brother called me a slut and slaughtered me. I crossed every limit of love, and in the sowing of my last breaths, my sixth life saw me appear as a great saint. Seventh time I was never born because radiologists told my father that my sexual organs would never fully form. My father was a visionary man. A gynecologist ended me in my mother's womb with the help of all her medical knowledge. The next time when I opened my eyes, I was an endless mountain of light. I was told that my name is Brahma and that I, myself, am responsible for every tyranny I have ever experienced. So this is actually also beautiful in a very dark way, and I appreciate this writing very, very much. And I want to bring this, relate this to the story that I'm about to tell you guys. So it's really interesting. So we're talking about religion, and you know how in Hindu religion there's they have hierarchies where there are people, the untouchables, and then you go up and up and up, and on the very top. So this hierarchy is designed by color, right? It was the highest level was the lightest people of India, right? And then you go lower and lower and lower, and then the people that were just untouchables were the darkest people, and of course they became the poorest too because they were given, janitor की jobs and इस तरह की, इस तरह की jobs. तो ये इस तरह से इनकी hierarchy बनी हुई थी. तो what ended up happening कि because इनकी, और फिर ये इनके religion में भी one or two, सारे वो religion नहीं जो वहाँ पर थे सब कॉन्टिनेंट में, इस्लाम के अलावा, इस्लाम और क्रिश्चियनिटी के अलावा, बट ज़्यादातर जो उनके और रिलीजन थे उसमें ये हायरार्की इंक्लूडेड थी. बट जब मुगल्स ने टेक ओवर किया, I mean they had a lot of, obviously Mughals were not great rulers, शुरू में था, but ऐसा क्या हुआ मुगल्स के साथ. But the one thing the Mughals did कि ये जो हायरार्की का सिस्टम था इसको ऑलमोस्ट ख़त्म कर दिया. मोस्ट जगहों से मुगल्स ने ये सिस्टम ख़त्म कर दिया था. तो इस तरह की हायरार्की बची नहीं थी. कुछ जगहों पे थी उसके बाद भी, बट फ्रॉम मोस्ट प्लेसेस इट वाज एलिमिनेटेड. तो मुगल्स के ज़माने में अगर आप ये इनकी हिस्ट्री पढ़ें तो यू वोंट फाइंड कि ये वाली हायरार्की थी. आई मीन हम जब हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हैं तो हमें नज़र आती है कि ये था, हम इसका वी नो अबाउट दिस. लेकिन क्योंकि हम हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हैं उस वक्त की, पार्टीशन के ज़माने की, उससे ज़रा पहले की, तो उस वक्त तो थी, बिकॉज उस वक्त तो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के हिसाब से पढ़ते हैं हम हिस्ट्री. नाउ हाउ डिड इट कम बैक? जब British came to the subcontinent, they found out about this. They found out that in religions mein, they had this system. So as a plan, and this is part of history, this is absolutely real, this is not a made-up thing. Please go look it up wherever you look up these things. As a plan, the British obviously thought that we are the whitest of all, right? तो अगर हम ये hierarchy वापस ले आएं, तो they will have to respect us, they will have to listen to us, and they will give us the importance that we need. Because उस वक्त जब ये लोग आए थे, और जब the British people, और जब इन्होंने ये करना शुरू किया, पहले तो they came as कि हम business करना है, हमें spices का whatever, वो तो चला. लेकिन जब थोड़ा सा उन्होंने और push करना शुरू किया, थोड़ा इस तरह problematic बना इनका होना, तो they didn't know what to do, how to convince them to give more and more and take more and more. Then they said, oh, this is perfect. These people used to almost worship the whitest caste. So how about we bring that system back? We remind them of how they did their religion before, and we put that back, and then just let things happen. So they did that. They reestablished that system, and they used to do all of this through the Indians. And the puppets that they had. They didn't do anything on their own because they knew कि अगर कोई Indian कहेगा और वो re-install करेगा in systems को, तो this will have more of an effect. So they brought it back, and of course they were the whites there, so everybody just kind of started following that pattern, and we already had those roots of thinking that white is better because the system पहले चल रहा था, so it was easy to spring it back up. So I just found this super interesting that as people of the subcontinent, we are absolutely prone to racism, whether it's against ourselves or against other people from other countries. But then the level of racism that white people have is beyond incredible. It's another thing, just absolutely other thing. And the story in here about traveling, it's I think about transgress. Sayyid Kazmi. Yeah. That's also a really interesting way of discussing it, of discussing the travel, the constant mode of travel. Not just like you're traveling from one place to another, but travel in you're always, once you're out of your country, you're always a traveler, right? You're always in another place. You're never home. And just the way he says that you kept on producing documents until you were good enough to enter their country. So you're always trying to be good enough. There's always a competition, like we just, talked about in that other story. That kid wanted to be like them, wanted to be good enough, wanted to be accepted. And that's the same thing here, that you are trying to be good enough. You're always reaching. You're always trying to be one step better. Just traveling, moving. You're not at peace. You're not grounded. If you're not home, you're not grounded. And that's the feeling, when you get at airports, you get at different, trains and moving places. And for somebody like me, again, relatable at, younger age, when I travel a lot. I love traveling. It's just my thing. Anytime we have a break and I have some time, I'm just like, let's go somewhere. I'm going to go somewhere. And the kids can't go, Bale can't go. I'm like, I'll go. Mujhe to jaane dein, right? But yeah, he talks about a lot of different places. He talks about, now I'm here. Now I'm free. Now I can do things. So the idea कि अपनी country से निकल के we can do things. The idea that now, and then it's interesting because he talks about, I can do things, I'm free, he implies all of these things. And then he says, you search around for the signs of freedom, equality, fraternity, democracy. You notice the glass ceiling. You admire the architect. You think it's a nice idea to have a glass ceiling. But things stay out. Bad things stay out. It is good for the sunlight. For now, the glass is keeping the inclement weather out. So you see, you're free. You have democracy. But then there's a glass ceiling. There's only so high you can go. Not them. You. Because you're Pakistani after all. You're brown at the end of the day. So you can only go so far. You have to stop at some place and show your papers and prove yourself. You have to prove yourself. So there's always a sense of, you have to stop. We have to stop at some point. Only in Pakistan where we can just keep going and doing. But हमारे लिए क्या होता है कि हम पाकिस्तान में ये समझते हैं, जब हम पाकिस्तान के बारे में बात करते हैं, जब पाकिस्तानियों की बात करते हैं, तो we talk in ऐसे कि we're not a part of it. पाकिस्तानी ऐसे करते हैं, पाकिस्तान में आजकल ऐसे हो रहा है, और ये पाकिस्तानियों को तो समझ नहीं आती. पाकिस्तानी ये करते हैं, like we're not पाकिस्तानी. We don't say हम ये कर रहे हैं, हमारे साथ ये हो रहा है, हमारे मुल्क में ये हो रहा है. We separate ourselves from Pakistan. And that's happening more and more and more. And we need to bring ourselves back. How are we above it? How are we above Pakistanis? How are we above Pakistan? ये concept is beyond me कि हमने अपने आप को किस तरह से अलग कर लिया पाकिस्तान से. Whether we have lived our entire lives outside of Pakistan or we've lived our entire lives in Pakistan, how are we not a part of Pakistan? Because दुनिया में कोई country और नहीं है जो हमें 100% accept करेगी. और इस चीज़ की acceptance हमको आनी चाहिए कि कोई country और हमें उस तरह से accept नहीं करेगी जिस तरह से पाकिस्तान ने accept किया. Because obviously we are a part of Pakistan. So what is the reason for our detachment to this country? What is the reason to say कि इसका तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता, इस मुल्क का तो अब कुछ नहीं होगा? What is the reason for that? और जब हम ये कहते हैं कि इस मुल्क का कुछ नहीं हो सकता, have we tried to do something about it? And have we tried everything before making this claim? And here's another thing to understand, to fully understand, कि ये जो हमारा attitude है कि अब इसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, अब तो बस ये, and also the attitude language के बारे में कि उर्दू नहीं आती, उर्दू नहीं बोलनी, उर्दू मुश्किल है, और उर्दू, this dislike and distaste of the language also. A whole full community has, global communities over time, over a span of history, have worked really hard to make us feel this way. Hi, Zen. To make us dislike who we are, and dislike our history, and dislike our country, dislike our religion, because having an identity, knowing ourselves, appreciating our culture, our religion, our language, our country, makes us strong. And there are people out there जो कि नहीं चाहते. And we have absolutely let them win. सारी दुनिया में students and young people stand up for their countries, for other people, their rights and their freedom, because they have that consciousness कि चीज़ों को बदलना है. Life has to change. World has to keep moving. और उसके लिए sacrifices देने होते हैं. उसके लिए खुद उठना होता है, खुद changes करनी होती हैं. But जो effort दूसरों ने हमारे ऊपर लगाई है, हमारे young generation पे लगाई है, to not make the effort, to make us believe that our country is not worth it, that effort has worked. Think about it. Why do we think that Pakistan is hopeless? No American will ever say to you, my country is hopeless, I don't care, I'll go somewhere else. And I don't mean coming to Pakistan. They can go to Europe, they can go to other countries in Europe, they can go to Australia, New Zealand, those countries are awesome. They can go to Switzerland, Germany, they're awesome countries. They don't ever say that. Why? They're actually fighting for their country as we speak. They're saying, no, we'll make changes, we'll do this. And not just their own country, they're fighting for the countries that we should be standing up and fighting for. और क्यों होता है ऐसे? हम नहीं कर रहे इस तरह. Right? We're ready to leave. Pakistan can burn behind us. We're ready to leave. Right? So we have to think about हमारे लिए ये सब चीज़ें important क्यों नहीं हैं? हमारे लिए अपनी परेशानी और अपनी country की परेशानी, why is it just like, I don't know, it's really bad, but oh well, what can I do? Have you tried to find out what you can do? And हर चीज़ का solution, सबसे बड़ी परेशानी होती है कि I don't want to go out on the streets, I don't want to get hurt, I don't want to get killed, I don't want to get picked up by the government. हर चीज़ का solution बाहर streets पे निकलना नहीं होता. There is so much that can be done. But we don't try anymore. We don't work on this. And जब issues आते हैं, जब परेशानियाँ आती हैं, जब difficulty country में आती है, तो you just have to look around you to see कि हम क्या solution निकाल सकते हैं. And I'm trying to figure out कि हमारे पास ये solutions हम कोशिश क्यों नहीं करते? Not हम, because I'm an old lady. But no, it doesn't. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. Our age group shouldn't try. But I'm talking about you guys, जो आप लोग young लड़के लड़कियां हैं, आप लोगों का what happens that makes you feel, and we know that one of the reasons is that this was an effort. Like I said, we are strong people, and this was an effort because जब पाकिस्तान बना भी था, and it's an absolute truth, and I know that nobody's going to deny that. Pakistan bana bhi tha. So there was a bunch of people, for a lot of reasons, who didn't want Pakistan to exist. Ab Pakistan ban gaya, so then the effort was, okay, let's not let it be strong. Let's not let it flourish. And the best thing to do, किसी भी चीज को दबा के रखने का, किसी भी चीज को बढ़ने ना देने का, the best thing you can do, the best way to do that, कि वहाँ के जो strongest, सबसे strong asset है, उसको आप natural strong asset, उसको आप flourish ना होने दें. ठीक है ना? That's the best thing you can do. And that's what those people in the world जो नहीं चाहते कि पाकिस्तान flourish हो, उन्होंने यही किया है. That's exactly what they've done. And how have they done it? They've made us feel, like I said, again, I'm going to repeat it, कि Pakistan is nothing important. Pakistan is not going to give us anything. It has nothing to offer. Urdu language is just, it's so hard, it's not cool, it's not fun to talk in. Our religion is so strict. I don't know. All of these things over the years, hundreds of years में आके अब जब पाकिस्तान बन गया, even more just hammer this into us. Even though our language has so much depth, it's made up of, Arabic and Persian and even Latin, if you can believe that. It is the richest language, one of the richest languages. And it's an amazingly beautiful language. It is so much, I know that coming from somebody like me, लगता है कि मुझे उर्दू नहीं आती होगी, but I do actually. मेरे बोलने की power इतनी नहीं है, but reading में I do like to read, and मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा languages नहीं आती, but I do like to explore languages in the sense कि अगर मैं कुछ पढ़ रही हूँ, तो I like to see कि ये word कहाँ से निकला और कहाँ, how it relates to other languages, and I just like to do that kind of thing. And a lot of the times कोई word उर्दू का हो जो मुझे ज़रा लगे कि this is unusual, I haven't read it before, तो I like to see कि कहाँ क्या उसके मतलब तो चलो ठीक है, लेकिन कहाँ से निकला, कहाँ क्या roots हैं. तो it turns out कि a lot of them, Greek words and Latin words, and a lot of it is like that. And somebody actually said the other day कि English is a much richer language than Urdu. Urdu में तो words के एक से ज़्यादा meaning नहीं मिलते हैं. And I was just like in shock. I didn't want to, argue. I don't like to argue with people. And my kids were there. But I was like, no, my kids are not going to listen to stuff like this, and I'm not going to let it go. I came home and I was like, okay, think of a word, any word, Urdu, English, I don't care. Think of a word. And they came up with a word. And then I'm like, okay, we're going to go to a dictionary. पहले English निकालो, इसके synonyms ढूंढो. And they looked up synonyms, बहुत सारे होते हैं सारे एक word के. Then I was like, Urdu के निकालो and go to synonyms. And it was like hundreds, literally hundreds. And that's not one word. It's because it, of course, borrows from other languages. So वो mix होके फिर एक word से वो ये word निकलता है, फिर उधर वो Arabic की तरफ चला जाता है, फिर उसकी तरफ. English में it's only English. Maybe a little bit of Latin. Maybe a little bit of, but that's it. It doesn't, Greek and Latin की थोड़ा वो हो जाती है branches, but that's it. It doesn't, and this is not, I'm a writer, right? So, and I'm an English teacher, so I'm a literature teacher, so I'm not saying it as English is a bad language. That's what I do. English is what I do for a living. So nothing, no shade to English, but I'm just saying, Urdu is a wonderful language. You just get sucked into it when you're reading it. So I'm just saying, why isn't Urdu not considered as just another language, and a good one, and an interesting one, just like English and French and German? Why is it, oh my God, Urdu? When we're learning languages, why don't we consider Urdu as a language that we should learn? And anytime we talk about it, it's a negative way. So we need to start thinking about this thing. Why do we put down our country? Other people don't do that. And हमारी generation तक ये नहीं होता था. We are proud of this country. We are ready to do things for it. And we did in whatever capacity that we could. Leaving the country was never our choice. I never wanted to leave. Once we left, obviously, छोटी उम्र में as a child, we left. उसके option नहीं थी. But the second I could come back, we came back. But यहाँ पे जो आप लोग पल बढ़ रहे हो, I just don't understand. And कि ये क्या चीज़ है जो ये हो रही है. And another thing that I want to make clear or maybe mention, I don't know, कि जब आप एक्सेप्ट करते हो किसी जगह को, किसी चीज़ को, किसी इंसान को, किसी भी तरह से एक्सेप्टेंस, किसी भी तरह से किसी भी चीज़ की एक्सेप्टेंस, I don't want to say people or person. You have to accept all parts of it. It can't be just the good parts, We talked about the minorities, we talked about the culture, religion, we talked about all of these things. So you accept everybody. Because if we don't, then how are we better than all those countries that we talked about that are not accepting of us? So we will have to, and we should, accept the disagreeable parts, right? The religious minorities, the other kind of ethnic minorities, we should accept all of them. And we should be ready to bring them into our everyday fold. Like they should be an equal part of our lives. They shouldn't be hidden in a corner somewhere where we don't think about them or we don't worry about them until we absolutely have to. So it can't be, all right, I'm just going to talk about them when it comes up in a story or when कोई special project हो रहा है. उसके अलावा, I did my part. Once a year, I did my part. It should be a part of daily life. कि उनकी protection, उनके rights, उनकी places of worship, your places of safety, all of these things should be very much taken care of. And not just the government should take care of it, we should, as people, should worry about it and make sure that the government takes care of it. ये सब चीजें, why are we so far away from all this? We call ourselves activists and, you know, in favor of progress. तो यहाँ पे आके हमारी progress ख़त्म क्यों हो जाती है? यहाँ पे आके हम, why do we stop caring? For example, refugees की बातें, I was saddened and hurt to see that. So hello to everybody who's joining. We're just gonna wrap up now. It was really, it broke my heart to see that जो Afghan refugees हैं, most of Pakistan wanted them to leave, and the view most of Pakistan had was that their country is Afghanistan, तो अपनी country में जाएं. What's wrong with that? But what you guys are not realizing, the people who are, I don't know where you stand, all of you, again, what you guys are not realizing that Pakistan is their country. अभी जो अमेरिका में डिस्कशन हो रही है, जो ट्रम्प बात कर रहा है कि immigrants should leave America, and he's saying go back to your own country. These immigrants are not immigrants. They are Americans. He's not talking about having people जो illegally अमेरिका में आ गए. No, he's talking about kicking people out जो सालों से, their entire lives they've been here. They've been in the U.S. And that's the exact same thing the government of Pakistan did to the Afghan refugees. They came, they भाग illegally आए, but भाग के जंग से भाग कर आए ना. And we don't have a perfect immigration system कि उनको asylum उसी वक्त मिल जाता या उनको paperwork फ़ौरन के फ़ौरन हो जाता. Some of them have those refugee cards, some of them don't. और फिर उनके बच्चे हो गए, उनके बच्चों को वो status मिला या नहीं मिला. अब उनके बच्चे are Pakistani because their kids have never been or had never been back there. Afghanistan is not home to them. Pakistan is home to them. And this is the exact same thing that Trump is doing. The kids who were born in America to immigrant parents. Immigrant parents may have come illegally, escaping a war or some other hostile situation. But they came. And same thing happened. Their paperwork didn't go through or some other situation. They didn't literally climb a wall and ran into the country. ऐसे नहीं हुआ. इसी तरह की सिचुएशन हुई कि वो वहाँ पे आए, जो asylum, वो जो उन्होंने जगहें बनाई होती हैं asylum की, वहाँ पर रहे, पेपरवर्क प्रॉपर्ली नहीं हुआ, उन्होंने कहा अच्छा अभी आप आ जाएं अंदर, उनको टेम्पररी पेपर्स दे दिए, फिर आपको पेपरवर्क कर रहे हैं, and then आगे पीछे हो जाता है बस. They started living, and that was not okay. They should have followed up. It should have happened properly. But फिर उनके बच्चे हो गए. अब उन बच्चों का कसूर तो नहीं है ना. उनके पास सोशल सिक्योरिटी नंबर है, उनके पास उनके आईडी कार्ड है, सब है. बच्चों ने तो प्रॉपर्ली सारा सिस्टम किया अपना. They have passports and they have everything. But because they were born to illegal immigrants, even though the illegal immigrants, the government knew कि वो आ गए हैं, अमेरिका में एंटर हो गए हैं. Those kids are being, parents तो हो ही रहे हैं, but those kids are being told to leave or have left actually. लेकिन अब it's getting worse and worse over there. लेकिन हम पाकिस्तान की भी बात करें तो हम पाकिस्तानियों को भेज रहे हैं और भेज दिया है actually. And you know why we did that? Because they're different from us. Claim हमारा यही है कि we can't afford to keep them. But Afghanistan can't afford to keep them either. but they were already living in Pakistan. They're Pakistanis. They're our responsibility. So should the government start taking Pakistanis out of the country and sending them in different places and just say, okay, oh, where did you come from originally? Were you from India? And were you from this part of the country and have you lived here and there? Okay, we'll send you there. Like, how is that okay in any way? But we don't accept them as Pakistanis because even though they were born in Pakistan, they lived their entire lives in Pakistan, 2 generations. They came in the 70s, and then 2 generations were born here and lived here. उनके grandparents आए थे पाकिस्तान और फिर उनके parents यहाँ पैदा हुए, फिर वो लोग यहाँ पे पैदा हुए, उन्होंने अपनी lives बनाई. So 2 generations lived here. And then we told them that they're not Pakistani just because they look different from us. They have a different language. Actually, not even that, because, you know, we have a whole province of people who look like them and talk like them. So I don't understand. You know, we are a country of immigrants as well. So we're doing the exact same thing that people in the US do to us. Because now we are being kicked out. A lot of other people from other countries are being kicked out, but we are being kicked out too. फिर उसने कहा कि green card वाले लोग, they need to leave, right? अभी तक तो ये, you know, illegal immigrants for green card, not gonna work. फिर naturalized passports, जिन्होंने बाद में आके green card लिए, फिर green card के through passports लिए, उन लोगों को अब उनकी बारी है. So where does it end? हम भी यही कर रहे हैं. So the question becomes, what does it mean to be Pakistani? And that's not a question that I can answer for any of you. I can only answer it for myself. And it doesn't matter what I think. What is important is for you to understand what it means for you to be Pakistani and how you can include the entire ideology of Pakistan in your idea, in your conclusion of what Pakistan means. It can't be about Pakistan kahin nahi ja raha or ab kuch theek nahi ho sakta. It can't be about that. It has to be about, if I care about this place, then I have to do something. अगर पाकिस्तान अभी भी इधर है तो पाकिस्तान कहीं जा रहा है. And we need to care. Actually, we don't need to. We don't need to do anything. We should want to. We should want to change things. We should want to get up and fight for what is given to us. We should want to change. We should want to want. That's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed the stories. Hope you enjoyed my interpretations of the stories. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. These always run so long. And I always plan for, you know, just really short ones. I only have like 2 pages of explanation. And I don't know how it got to an hour and a half. But I do hope you guys had fun. And I will talk to you next week. Until then, have a good week and have a good night, good day, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'll see you later. Hafiz.